Hello everybody, and greetings from the Texas Federation Nation for BASS. A young boy came home from school one day and his mom said, "Junior, what'd you learn at school today?" And he didn't say anything, and so his mother said, "Junior, I'm talking to you. What did you learn at school today?" He said, "Mama, I learned some boy not to call me Junior." You know, I feel like I'm the one learning something up here today, and I just stand in awe at all the people who are dedicating their life's work to enhance our Texas waters. You know, Texas is a state with many treasures, and some of these treasures are our lakes. And right now, no more lakes are being planned and impounded. Some people might disagree with the statement that water is our most important natural resource. And so we're thinking, well, what can we do to preserve and conserve this resource? And the answer is in one word, and that's conservation. You know, they've done some future projections about population growth for Texas, and it indicates that we're one of the fastest growing locations in the nation. Every new person, child, senior citizen, either residing here now or coming soon, will need and use more water. BASS, we have a lifelong dedication to contributing to any program or project that enhances access and the fishing lifestyle of our members and the citizenry of the entire state. You know, as a state conservation project coordinator for Texas BASS, I desire to solicit any ideas from you who are planning projects that will conserve and protect aquatic plant and fish habitat. You know, sharing ideas benefits everybody. And I'm just full already, and the program's not even over. So I appreciate everything that's being presented today. Now, there will be a cost. You know, conservation's not cheap. But BASS stands ready to join our valuable Texas Parks and Wildlife partners to help eradicate or control invasive species in our Texas waters and improve the clean water conditions of God's creation of the aquatic habitat. Now, I'm fortunate to have been connected with several projects about our invasive aquatic fern that, from southeast or southwest Brazil, called the giant Salvinia molesta. And with a good part of my time now, I want to introduce Howard Elder, a biologist who is, in my opinion, an expert on the giant savanna. And Harold, thank you for letting me go first.
Well, we do appreciate everyone's presence here today, and we're really impressed, at least I'm really impressed with what we've seen so far. And as Jimmy mentioned, we're going to talk about giant Salvinia molesta. Most of us have seen these pictures a few times before, and I assure you that once you see it in person, you will never forget it. Seeing it on the screen like this is something that you just can't quite get a feel for. Standing at a boat ramp looking at 100 acres of this stuff definitely leaves a mark on you. Giant Salvinia is from Brazil. It comes in 3 stages that we normally see it, and this is one of the reasons that it moves around so easily. We have an invading stage, or the primary form, which is a little tiny plant, and it can be the size of a pencil eraser. It's that small. And so before you know it, and I mean in the space of maybe 2 weeks, it can turn into what we call the secondary form, where the leaves actually grow large enough and begin to fold. And its final form is the tertiary form, and it's the mat forming stage. And if you'll notice, the leaves are accordion typed. I mean, they're pushed together. And strangely enough, this actually allows this plant to move with any little breath of wind. It has a leaf surface facing the wind no matter where it's sitting, or no matter which way the wind is coming from. So it moves quite readily, clear across the lake overnight. We have 17 reservoirs in Texas that have had giant Salvinia. Many of these we have actually found in time and actually removed it. Most of the time it is at a boat ramp. We can actually contain it at a boat ramp and remove it. So not all of these lakes currently have Salvinia, but the ones that do, we're watching very, very closely. Thanks to the attention of our fisheries management crews, we've been able to actually reduce and actually eliminate giant Salvinia in many of these lakes. If there's any doubt in your mind whether this stuff really does what we say it does, this is Toledo Bend in 2004. This is the upper end of Toledo Bend in 2004, and it's covering, upwards of 3,000 acres or more. In 2009, Leslie McGaha with the Southeast Texas Bass Federation called me and asked me about, to discuss an idea. She wanted to have a giant Salvinia Roundup. She originally wanted to do it on Toledo Bend. We told her, well, we don't think that's a great idea because we just don't want everybody to be so discouraged. Plus, we're kind of busy up there. So we talked her into Sam Rayburn. She came out, she looked at it, she says, we can work with this. So she actually single-handedly put together these sponsors that would actually help us. And that includes the Angler Conservation Team, and the Boy Scouts of America, Stop Aquatic Hitchhikers, Jackson Hill Marina, who hosted the event, the Piney Point Sanitation, Sealy Outdoors, Bob Sealy Outdoors, and, of course, Texas Parks and Wildlife. So she did this single-handedly. I'd like to take the credit, but she was the driving force behind this. We had a small meeting where we had a positive, we could sit everybody down and make sure they knew how to identify the plant and answer any questions that everybody might have. So if anybody here is not quite sure what giant Salvinia looks like, this is pretty good pictures of it. This is the root structure. This is what it looks like up close with the magnifying glass. You can see the egg beater type structures that the leaf hairs make. It's very characteristic of giant Salvinia. We talked to everybody. I think we had probably 18 participants that showed up, and some of them drove quite a ways to be there. We had a series of talks with Leslie, myself, and Terry Simpson, who owns Jackson Hill Marina, about the way that it is transported across the country and the impacts that it may have on the local economy and the lake itself. As you can imagine now, we know for a fact that it does get around by boat trailers because this is Sam Rayburn Reservoir. We actually got this guy before the water dried, after he got into the water. So we were lucky to actually found this and got it out of the water quickly. This person was ticketed and he did pay a fine. This is what it will look like in a really bad spot when you have a boat trailer that uses an infested ramp. Jimmy Lee was there, and he informed us of the commitment of the Texas Bass Federation Nation into helping us try to control this plant. So we did have a little strategy session. Leslie kind of sat down with everybody and decided where they were going to move away from Jackson Hill Marina and the areas that they were going to cover as they were to pick up giant Salvinia or any Salvinia that they found and bring it back. Originally, we had hoped that there would be enough that they could actually run it like a weigh-in, so that if you had a lot of giant Salvinia, you would win a prize. So we'll go on with that. But anyway, we gave them, everybody got their marching orders, and they were given nets that were provided by Texas Parks and Wildlife, and they took off. Now, our results were a little bit less than satisfactory. We didn't find any giant Salvinia, but we kind of knew there wasn't a whole lot there on Rayburn at that time. But 5 pounds of common Salvinia was brought in. The difference being, in the leaf structure, this is common. You see the filaments are spread out. And this is giant. Filaments are in an egg beater shape. So the most important thing to point out is that we had the volunteers there. They all learned how to identify it and tell the difference between the two. And they found out what it really entails to go out there and try and harvest this stuff. Because the first thing they asked me, well, can you find us some that's not up underneath the bushes? Well, that's the way, that's the way it is. And that's what we have to do. Most important thing that came out of the giant Salvinia Roundup, it was a precursor to a public awareness campaign that we began very shortly thereafter. And it was actually the first step, and I think it gained a lot of interest in Parks and Wildlife to see this happen. We began a public awareness campaign. This is at Conroe last year at the Texas Bass Classic. And this is a group of volunteers of Caddo Lake, because we all know that Caddo Lake had giant Salvinia and started in 2006. We had a group of volunteers up there that were willing to go out there and tackle the giant Salvinia with the intention of removing all of it by hand. I hope that they weren't too discouraged, but they're still helping us in what we do on Caddo Lake. This is what we'd like Caddo Lake to look like, and that's our end goal. Public awareness is extended to native vegetation establishment. There's Leslie again. She was right there with us at the Texas Bass Classic. And she was not only helping the Seven Coves Bass Club, but she was actually helping us to getting the word out on giant Salvinia. We had a nice, really beautiful display, actually constructed by Mark Webb's crew, and Rick Ott had a lot to do with it, that actually showed what we what we see at a boat ramp, invasives and boats, how it gets spread around, and of course we do have signs. We have signs at almost every boat ramp where we found giant Salvinia. So there will be signs at any boat ramp in the future that where we find giant Salvinia. Okay, biggest message is clean your boats and trailers. It's that simple. It's important to do so. House Bill 2026 made it a Class C misdemeanor to transport invasive vegetation. Second offense is a $2,000 fine. So, kind of drive the point home. It is against the law. It's kind of a good idea to kind of clean your trailers off before you leave a boat ramp. Most important thing is report suspicious vegetation. If you see a boat ramp like this one here, don't use it. I mean, let somebody know so that we can go in there and clean it up. Because you don't want to go around, you don't want to pull your boat trailer out and have it look like this one here. So it's important. The ad campaign began, and we started putting out, Texas Parks and Wildlife Media put out pontoons, not pontoons, but buoys with a clean your boat and trailer sign on it with pictures of giant Salvinia. Included with pump toppers on the tops of gas pumps. We've seen these. Keep your eyes out for them. They're out there. We also came up with the giant Salvinia monster. Okay, this guy's a character. We spent all day for a 30-second spot, to get this TV commercial done. But it was a gas. We just had a blast doing it. But anyway, we had an angler, and we had the Salvinia monster. We had it on the prop, and we had him throwing it away. And if you all haven't seen the YouTube video, please take time to watch it. It's pretty funny. But it does get the idea across. We have to remember that habitat is the very foundation of everything that we love to do. If you like to fish, what you're looking for? You're looking for the right habitat. On any given day, it's maybe a little bit different, one day to the next, but it's habitat. So habitat is what we're all about, and habitat is what we're trying to protect. Thank you.